What's up? GodCubing. Welcome to the EOLR tutorial series, episode 1. Today, we're going to talk about what EOLR is, EOLRs everyone should know, and when and how to learn full EOLR. Let's get into it. What is EOLR? Well, EOLR is a set of algorithms which solve EO and place the UL and UR edges in the bottom so that they're ready to be inserted with an M2. It's very efficient, and it's very like how with beginner's method you learn to solve a corner, and then after solving all the other corners you'd insert the edges. Whereas when you learned F2L, you learned how to put them both in together. In EOLR, we have two kinds of arrows. We have good arrows, which are arrows that can solve EO and put the UL/UR edges on bottom. And then we also have bad arrows. This is not one of them. And we also have bad arrows, which are arrows that can solve EO, but they won't put both UL/UR edges on bottom. Now, here are some EOLRs that everyone should know, even if you don't use EOLR. When you have an arrow, and one of your UL/UR edges is on the side of the arrow, right? This would be the tip, these are the sides. And then your other UL/UR edge is either of these two edges. When you do your arrow, you can place them both on bottom. So if it's the bottom edge, then you'll probably want to end with an M prime. But if you have it as the top edge, then you'll want to end it with an M so that they're both on the bottom. Additionally, you'll want to do a U move depending on which side of the arrow it's on. So if it's on this side, you'll do a U prime. And if it's on this side, you'll do a single U move. This next case is extremely efficient and very interesting. Would you believe me if I told you you could solve EO and the UL/UR edges in one move from here? You can. This is called the one move arrow, where you have a UL/UR edge in the tip of the arrow and one in the bottom layer. You do a single M move to put them both in the bottom layer, and now your cube looks totally messed up. But believe it or not, this is edge orientation. We have a different colored center on top. This is called misoriented centers, and it flips the edge orientation of these four. So now we want orange or red to be on top instead of yellow or white. However, for the UL/UR edges, we keep yellow on bottom or top because they are unaffected. And you'll notice this when I get to the last four edges. EO is done, but it's just a single M move away. And that is what misoriented centers is. And that's the beauty of this one move arrow. In fact, it's what the next two cases are going to utilize. Let's get into them. This arrow is called the mediocre arrow because it's not quite as good as that good arrow that I showed at first, which is 3 moves to UL/UR, but this can do it in 4 moves. Basically, we'll have a bad edge on the side of the arrow and one at the tip, and then that's it. What we want to do is we want to bring this to the bottom layer, and this will stay at the tip so that we get a one move arrow. So we'll do a swap with an M prime, U2, and then an M, and then we do a AUF to stack them, and then we do one move into edge orientation and the UL/UR being ready. In this next and final case, both UL/UR edges are in the bottom. Actually, I'll do a Y2 so that you can see them easier. For this case, we're going to mess the arrow up and put it sideways. And we're going to do a really cool thing where we take this edge and we put it where the other good edge is on the arrow with an M prime, a U, and then we'll finish with an M. That sets up a one move arrow on the other side of the cube. So that's 4 moves to EO and UL/UR.
Now for when you should learn EOLR. I would recommend learning EOLR around sub 15, probably a little bit faster, as it's a little bit more advanced. You definitely want to have full CMLL down pat before you even consider it. But I mean, as always, you can learn it whenever you feel comfortable, but that's what I'd recommend. And I would say once you've learned EOLR and you've got it down pat, the very next thing that should be on your docket or whatever is learning how your CMLLs affect your last LSE, basically. So you want to be able to look at your CMLL and know what AUF to do, what CMLL to do, and what EOLR to do. That's ideally where you want to get. And then you want to start learning EOLRB next. That's kind of the progression for last 10 pieces. As always, just trying to drill down the CMLLs, get them as fast as you can. But that's pretty much the standard progression for last 10 pieces beyond, sub 15 or whatever. Now for how to learn them.
When you do learn EOLR, you're going to want to learn it based on the EO cases, and you're going to want to use my videos and this ALG sheet here. The reason for that is that in these, I have checked and checked again that these are the optimal solutions. These are the best solutions, the shortest solutions, and no other guide on the internet has that. No other guide can offer that. Kian's leaves out some cases in his tutorial series, and other documents oftentimes don't have optimal solutions. So here you have optimal solutions, and it's nice and organized. You have these images here to show you what the cube looks like that the solution would solve, and an example of the case. For all of these, you just learned them in the EOLR cases everybody should know segment, and the next video segment is going to be on 4.0, and so that's the next one here. I would recommend learning them by the EO case, as I said, and then once you've learned that full EO case, you can move over to the trainers. This is Onion Honey's trainer. The links for all these are going to be in the description, and there's just one other trainer after this one. So you select your EO, misoriented centers. I would recommend combined here because based on my guide, we're using misoriented centers, especially when it's optimal. And you can hide virtual cube if you want, but that's it. You just hit the space bar, and it'll give you the scramble. You do that on your cube, it'll give you the same virtual cube as you see over here. And then you can practice. If you want to count your moves, it should add up to 8. And these are solutions, the example ones. A lot of times the directions of the M moves get changed and it's technically a different solution, but if you get 8, then you did it right. It's just a simple check. This is a different one. This is like Jeremy's trainer, I believe, and you can select your EO cases here. For example, let's do 4.0. You can pick what orientation you want. I really like yellow-blue, if you can't tell from my videos. And you can hit escape, and then you can just get your keybinds really quick. M, I do L, M prime K, U, J, U prime F. And with that, you hit spacebar to redo the current scramble, enter to get a new scramble. You can read that right there. It gives you this cube here. You can see the back of the cube and the bottom stickers as well. As you can see, I'm doing a U and then a U prime for this one. The EOLR, you can do an easy EOLR B if you do M, U2, M prime, and then another U, M prime, U2, or M, U2, M prime, and then like that. And as you can see, that's also the EOLRB solution because we also learned the EOLRB for this case. Super easy, like it's really just you do an extra AUF or something before the case, if I recall right. I would definitely select this add random AUF. If you're getting everything from the perfect angle every time, that's just not realistic. So definitely train them after you learn them. Make them so that they're basically algorithmic. I know they're intuitive, but try and get there. Yeah. Thanks for watching. Godspeed.